Hello folks, and welcome to another Richard Head Longbows video. Yes, the YouTube channel that tries to help you make bows and arrows by using our combined experience, which is probably 50 plus years.
Oh my God.
50 plus years of combined experience, professional experience in making bows and arrows. One of the things we did recently was took a trip to Bosworth.
Bosworth Battlefield.
Bosworth Battlefield, no less. Or probably Bosworth Battlefield. We went to the Bosworth Battlefield Centre, try saying that 3 times when you're drunk, but there is some dispute as to whether it is on the site of the actual battlefield or not.
Well, Richard III would have put the centre somewhere else.
Yes, he would have done, yes, with a bigger car park. The reason we went there was for the Craft Guild of Traditional Bowyers and Fletchers meeting, of which we're members. Now, I know you may have heard of that, or you may not have heard of that, and I know a lot of people don't really know what it is, and that's what we're going to try and clear up now, or at least tell you a bit about it. Now, there is a Bowyers Guild, or the Worshipful Company of Bowyers, which we need to make the distinction between. Now, what is the Worshipful Company of Bowyers?
The Worshipful Company of Bowyers,
another one difficult to say,
is a City of London livery company that were founded in the 1300s, and their job was to oversee the quality of longbows.
Right.
And I suppose it was a bit of a closed shop. You know, you had to become a member to be able to produce bows within the city. And when the Battle of Agincourt needed bows, they were tasked with making the bows for the battle.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to be a good quality, and that was the function. Over the years, because the longbow, people stopped making them when guns came in, the actual making of bows fell by the wayside, but the company still existed as a charitable organisation. Really.
So similar to a lot of the guilds now that are in the City of London, they don't necessarily are not completely made up of people who make or are involved in the guild that it's named after.
A lot of the ancient ones, the crafts, don't exist anymore.
Right.
So they still exist as charitable organisations within the city.
Right. So being the Bowyers being much the same in that vein, we have obviously with the events that we've been doing here, like we're going to be doing this weekend, we're actually doing bow making and trying to help some of those members of the Bowyers become real Bowyers. Yes. By showing them the art of bow making.
That's right. Yeah.
And because of that guild already existing, which is why there's a differentiation between that and the Craft Guild. So the Craft Guild being more about the craft, being about the skills of bow making. Now, you were one of the founder members, along with the main founder, which was Hugh Saul, which was in...
Well, it's about 30 years ago, so a lot younger than the Worshipful Company of Bowyers, but there are connections, there are quite strong connections between the two. But Hugh, being secretary of the British Longbow Society at the time, wanted to be able to recommend good quality bowyers to members of the British Longbow Society, who would then buy bows from them. So it started off as a pretty loose association of bowyers that Hugh contacted throughout the UK, bearing in mind this was pre-internet.
It was 1987, so yeah.
It was just names that people knew. So Hugh got them together. So it was a loose.
It was a small handful.
It was a loose gathering of people who were making bows at the time. Obviously, some of them are not with us anymore. Roy King, Ron Palmer,
George Thorley,
Ron Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, some very good makers who have now
were all there from the start.
Were from there from the start, but have now sadly passed away.
So within that, within the Craft Guild, it's obviously been not only preserving the art of bow making and, as Richard said, gathering those people together who are spread all around the UK. It's now very much able to promote the quality of the longbow and try to help raise that quality. And we've done that by creating awards or levels of skill which you need to achieve within the Craft Guild to become what's called a master.
That's right.
And we've it's quite a broad spectrum. You've got you can be a master stringer, arrowsmith, arrow maker, fletcher,
war
bows, recreational bow, the Victorian longbow. So you could be a master of various different types. You can go in for all of them if you want. You can achieve a master of all those, all the arts. And as I say, it's meant that we, as a guild, can make sure that people are attaining a certain level, before they can call themselves a master, and in general, giving people who are making equipment something to aim towards, if you excuse the pun, to increase their skill, increase the quality of what they're producing, which also gives you out there, the people consumers of this sort of equipment, some sort of assurance that if you're buying from a guild member and they're a master, you at the very least know they've had to come in front of their peers, which is now some 30 members, going from a handful to 30 members, from the length and breadth of Britain, you're assessed by other masters. The assessment itself has been put together by people like Richard and myself, so people have to come up to that criteria. It's quite stiff, it's quite difficult, it's actually quite a daunting task to become a master.
Yes, when we first started the guild, I mean, people didn't have to do anything, they were just invited, and then other members came in by recommendation of existing members, and as long as it looked like a longbow from the other side of the room, you were in. But we've gradually tightened that up until now you have to have your bow assessed, and every aspect of the bow is scrutinised, so that we know anyone coming into the guild as a master has had their bow very, very carefully examined, and we're 100% happy with it, and not everyone passes.
No, it is particularly when you're someone on the committee of people who has to do the assessments. It can be quite it's a difficult thing to say to someone, I'm sorry you haven't passed, or
their bow isn't good enough.
It's a difficult thing.
But we tell them why, so they can improve. They can try again next time and improve.
And people do, and they come back and they get better. Which is the whole point. It's like any other learning experience. You're told by your peers, by other masters, that you haven't quite come up to scratch in a certain area, and without exception, people do improve on that area and come back and become masters. So we hope that's cleared up really what the Craft Guild is.
Yes, I mean there's arrows as well. There's a connection with the worshipful company of Fletchers in London,
it's not just
to the Bowyers, and both they and the Bowyers award certificates for excellence. So once you've been a master for a certain number of years, you can put a bow forward, which again is examined, and it can be eligible for a bronze certificate or a silver certificate, and ultimately a gold certificate from the Bowyers and the Fletchers, which really means something.
Yeah, so even if you've gone past the normal, shall we say, in inverted commas, criteria of becoming a master, there then is stages above that you can work towards. So we are constantly promoting that, the idea of refining your art, no matter what it is you've chosen within the area of bow and arrow making.
Yes, and it's a useful gathering of members that can discuss problems and all sorts of things.
Yes, which again, going back to what we say earlier on, you wouldn't even known these people back in the 80s. You might not have even heard of them, let alone being able to communicate with them. Now it is a lot easier with the internet and things like this, making videos, you can see people making things and what have you.
Yes.
But to be able to gather together people who are professional, and the vast majority are now doing it as a living, in the same way that we are. It isn't just hobbyists, though there are plenty of people who aren't interested in doing it for a living, but are interested in learning the art and becoming masters within the guild. It's really broadened.
Yes, and you can become an apprentice to a master, so you can start.
Yes, we must say when you first come in, you have to be apprentice. I think is it 2 years?
Yes,
I can't remember exactly. I think it's 2 years. In the description box below here, we'll put the link to the guild's website, where all the information on there if you're interested in becoming a member, and how the stages that you need to go through to come in. To the various meetings and to become a master yourself is all on there, and you can contact the clerk to the guild for more information about that if you want to. And yes, the trip to Bosworth to the once a year large meeting that happens,
Yes.
and it was a well-attended event this
It
year.
was
I
good.
think there might have been 25, 30
Yes,
people there.
yeah,
It was
including
lot
a
of
couple
people.
from America, someone
Yeah.
from
Yes,
Norway.
Jamie, is it McDonald? I can't
Yes,
remember, is
yeah.
it Jamie McDonald? Is it Ravenbeak?
Yes,
I believe
yeah.
his name. Brought along some you and what have you. So yeah, we do have associates around the world who are associate members as well. So there's a lot of influence and interest around the world. So yes, the following video is me, Richard, and Hector Cole, who you probably know, board in a car on the way to Bosworth, and a quick look at some of the facilities at Bosworth and the meeting. I hope that's helped you with a bit of information about what the Craft Guild does. As I say, feel free to contact them, or indeed us, if you want to know more about it. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing and liking and all that other wonderful stuff, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I have, yes. Have you not been to Bosworth
No.
battlefield?
No,
Oh, right.
if it's the right battlefield.
Yes, there's some dispute now, isn't there?
Yes, it's a
A lot
bit
of
of
these
a...
battlefields, it's where people have always thought it was, but then they can't find you. Start digging around and can't find any
After
proof of it.
400 yards, go right on the roundabout, second exit.
Right, where are we going, Hector?
second exit.
No, in general, where are we
Go
going?
right on the roundabout, second exit.
We are...
What are we doing today?
Now, good question, Philip. I'm glad you asked me that question, because I wouldn't normally get asked that question,
Ah,
you see.
no.
And the fact that you've asked it means that it must be significant as to where we're going. Now, it depends on which way you look at it and which way you're facing. But I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. I think we might be going to a meeting.
Ah. No bother then. Ah. Bosworth.
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 After 400
Is it
yards,
husband's
cross
Bosworth?
the roundabout, second exit. Then go left on the roundabout,
It might
first
be.
exit.
Why are we going to Bosworth?
Going to meet Veronica.
Cross the roundabout, second exit. Then go left
Is
on
that
the
the
roundabout,
only reason we're
first
going?
Yep.
exit.
Perhaps I'll ask Richard. Why
Oh,
are we going to
yes.
Bosworth?
It's the annual meeting of the Craft Guild of Traditional Bowyers and Fletchers.
Aha.
After
Where we
300
discuss all sorts of
yards,
important
go
things
left on the
about
roundabout,
How
first
terrible
exit.
some customers are and that sort of thing.
Ah.
And who made the best
Go
bow?
left on the roundabout, first
Is there a
exit.
competition, is there?
Not this time, but there are people presenting a bow who want to become members, and you can't be a member unless your bow has been scrutinised by a panel of bowyers who are already masters of the guild, and if it passes, you're in. If it doesn't, you've got to try again next year.
Do you know where we're going now, Hector?
I know where we're going now, Philip. Yes.
You sure?
It is all
After
clear.
400 yards, go right on the roundabout, third exit.
Yes, the battlefield centre at Bosworth.
The what?
Battlefield centre, Bosworth.
Oh, Battlefield
Go
Centre.
right
yes,
on
we're-
the roundabout, third exit.
Is that where Richard III was killed eventually?
Oh. Wasn't he buried under a car
They
park or
buried
something?
him in the car,
Yeah.
under the car park, that's right.
How long have you been a member of the guild then, Hector?
More or less since it started.
Man and boy.
Yeah.
1862?
No, not quite that early. Well, you've been a member all the time, haven't you, Richard?
Since the beginnings.
Since the beginning.
beginning of the world.
We both have. We're venerable members.
Venerable.
Venerable, I said, yes. Not venereal.
Not venereal? No, you're not. I trust there are no venereal members in here. Look, this is supposed to be a nice video with nice gentlemen talking about gentlemen's things.
Oh, you want me to be serious, Philip?
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
No, yes. Well, yes.
Yes, no, yes.
No.
No, which
No,
yes and which no?
No, stop it. Look, Veronica doesn't like it if we're not sensible.
I know.
How long have you been a member, Dad?
Since the beginning. I don't know when that was.
And I'm letting you
We've
two
had-
drive.
Yeah.
You don't know where you are, who you are, where you're going.
How long we've been going.
Hello?
I don't know if we had the 25th anniversary.
What, the other day? Yeah, well, yes.
There was one, wasn't there?
Something like that.
I don't know. You'll have to look it up.
I don't know.
We can't be expected to know everything, can we, Hector?
Well, I
really?
don't know how I got on as a member because I don't make bows, and I don't make arrows.
You're a fraud. Why are you even coming?
I don't know.
Nobody
Nobody told me.
Coming for the lunch. It's usually your birthday. Is it your birthday today?
No, it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Hector.
Thank you, Philip.
How old are you?
As old as my tongue and a bit older than my teeth.
Right. Do you have teeth made out of whalebone like Captain Ahab?
No. They're all mine.
Nice forged.
Oh, shit.
Wrought iron.
Like Jaws.
Like Jaws, yeah.
Well, there was an American old timer who had a set made of out of Osage orange.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Are we nearly there yet?
Getting closer.
Well, there you are, folks. I think you get the vague gist. We are, in fact, going to the meeting of the Craft Guild of Traditional Bowyers and Fletchers up at Bosworth Battlefield. The disputed Bosworth Battlefield. It may or may not be. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Tell us your story then, Hector. How did you get into making arrowheads?
That's a long story, Philip. You haven't time to record it all.
The short version would be lovely.
No. The short version is that I started making arrowheads when I was in my teens. When
The
we
long
were
version.
not the medieval ones, but ones to go on my arrows, because we all had bows and arrows.
Oh, those target arrows, I mean.
Made out of willow and binder twine, and I wanted sharp, pointy bits on my arrows. So I started hammering them out of 6-inch nails, and slotting them in and binding them in to the shaft with a little bit of fine chicken wire. But then I became more interested and wanted to make my own longbow, and I was interested in medieval archery, and so I then had a little forge and was able to forge my first arrowheads, which are what I thought an arrowhead would look like, but of course it wasn't really. But that's how I started. So it does go back a long way to the mists of time.
How old are you now?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've given you that answer already.
Not into 3 figures yet.
No, not quite.
It is a well-kept secret.
Yeah.
What about you, Dad? How did you get into making bows? The short version.
Well, I started actual archery in late 1960s, shooting modern bows. And at the time there were some competitions for people using the traditional longbow, and at that time it was not easy to get hold of one, so I thought I would make my own, and it was successful. And archery club members said, "Oh, can you make me one?" And went on from there, becoming a quite busy hobby, and then part-time business, and eventually full-time business. So I've been doing that. I started probably well over 30 years ago now, making them. So Lindsay and I won the shoot at Brixham Archers that we went to, Hector.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was quite a tough course.
Yes.
Actual venue, very steep slopes, and of course it's been raining heavily for a couple of days beforehand, so it was quite slippery, and steps they'd cut in got washed away, so it was quite hard going around the course. But we both won.
Blimey. This was a field course?
Yeah, field shoot, yeah.
Brixham?
Brixham, yeah.
That's down in Devon.
It is.
That's a long way to
I
go.
know. And we're getting earlier and earlier. We made good time, actually.
What time does the meeting start?
Cup of
Meeting
coffee.
start time.
Make sure there's nothing coming the other way. Oh, this is a bit of a... Right. Good job you haven't got a long car with the low clearance. Coffee 10:30.
Is it?
We got to park the car, pay for parking. Hope someone got some money. I bet they didn't have this trouble when they came to the battle, having to park their car.
I know.
I mean, where's it taking us? Straight across. Don't want to go Fenny Drayton.
No.
Do you want to go to Fenny Drake?
No, or Sutton Cheney.
The only time it gives on the agenda is 1 o'clock lunch.
Market Bosworth.
Market Bosworth now.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking for husband's Bosworth.
What's that?
Well, there is a husband Bosworth. Have you seen the signs?
Wife's Bosworth. Oiled cats there, look.
Yeah. Nice wood up ahead. We're lost, Richard.
Yeah, I've never been round here before.
We're lost.
I need a wee. Open your window and ask that cyclist.
Got a lone cyclist.
10 points if you get him.
Which way to the battle?
No, he wouldn't know. He's got his head down. He doesn't know where he is. He's just following the road.
I think we're going to come in at the back entrance. Back end of the battle.
There weren't all these hedges here then.
You remember the battle, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said I thought I recognised that bit of hedge back there.
It's been alright.
But they would have been all
After
right.
400
Kingdom for a
yards,
barge.
turn right.
Yeah.
Nope, that's the sign here.
Bosworth Battlefield.
Bosworth
Down there.
Battlefield. Bosworth Battlefield. That must be it.
No, that can't be it.
Well, it said it.
It's it. Oh.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It said Bosworth
Yeah,
Battlefield.
it did. I just zoomed in on it with my camera.
Oh. According to Jane, it's down here. Where it is, we'll turn round. But that's the train. I don't know what that was. It says it's down here.
Turn right.
Where's What's he taking us?
I don't know. Should we follow Jane or?
I don't know.
So we should go back to where it said Bosworth battlefield. Do you think that's a good plan? I don't recognise this at all.
No, neither do I.
Right beyond.
She's turning right at
I
Ambion
can't
Lane.
really see.
look.
Someone might come round.
Is this
there,
Ambion Lane?
This is Ambion Lane, yeah.
Well, let's go.
Oh, we can go and ask there. It was a
we
sign
go.
saying
A sign
Bosworth
there.
Battlefield. I mean, it was a sign, so.
It's not what I recognise actually in the past
Oh,
at all.
well, I thought it looked like a train station.
Well, it is. It's two things, it said. But one of the things did say Bosworth Battlefield, whatever it is.
Let's go in and must be a road
Turn
through
around
from there.
when possible.
So I
Ah, you see,
certainly
she's...
don't recognise this.
No, Jane
at
doesn't
all.
recognise it either.
No.
Shenston
Bosworth
Station.
Battlefield.
No, I think you were right going the way you were, Richard.
But it said Bosworth Battlefield.
It did say Bosworth battlefield.
What's that sign say there? Bosworth.
Oh, Bosworth.
Well, this isn't the visitor centre and everything at all.
Bosworth Battlefield and Heritage Centre and Country Park.
Yeah, we'll go down there then.
Is that it?
Got to be.
You can't drive down there.
I don't know. Let's have a look, see what it says on the sign a minute.
Well, it would seem that we're lost. Apparently this train station isn't Bosworth Battlefield.
Oh, there's a train there.
Yes, that... How did you miss that train?
After 50 yards,
Spikes.
turn right.
God, spikes!
Oh, God.
Bloody hell.
Oh, what was that?
It's because you hadn't paid.
I suppose I better put my seatbelt on.
It's a steam train. Well, I never.
After
I was looking at the
200
carriages and
yards,
thinking, well,
turn
they look
right.
permanent. They don't look as though they move, but there was a train in steam, so they must move.
Turn right.
Okay, we're going to Shop Cheney.
Right, see, Jane was right. You've got to trust Jane.
After 300 yards, you have reached your destination.
Hooray!
See? Jane
There's a
knows.
brown notice.
Just a quick detour to have a look at the trains. I bet we
You
aren't
have
the only
reached your
people who do that.
Here we are.
Hooray! Bosworth Battlefield.
Visitor centre, that's what
That's
we are.
it.
That was more of those spikes.
Oh God! Remember that on the way out.
Go round. Going over those again.
Dates.
Now obviously I can't show you what happened at the meeting itself, but here's a sneaky bit of footage from inside the visitor centre and some of what goes on. Well, that's the lot, folks. Now it's time to get back in the car for another boring journey all the way back home, and we'll do it all again next year. Well, thanks for watching and liking, and if you'd like to subscribe, then please do, and if you don't, we'll stick you in one of these.